I can now happily say that I enjoyed every single boss fight in Resident Evil 4 Remake, and that wasn't possible in the past. Some of the fights in the original were a little bland to me, but they fixed them all in my opinion. From start to finish, every boss fight felt unique and gripping, giving the player a run for their money, especially in hardcore mode. One of the boss fights took me almost an hour to defeat, and I'm sure we all know which one that was. With that being said, I'm gonna rank every boss fight from least to greatest. If you haven't already, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We are almost at 1,000 subs, baby! It's all up to you though, of course, but I would be forever in your debt to serve as your content creating slave. Was that too much? Maybe? Oh well. Let's get started. Starting at dead last, it is the U3 boss fight because it wasn't even in the damn game. It doesn't bother me at all, but I was hoping to see how messed up this creature would look, only to find him cut from the game. It's a very minor complaint, I can easily look over it, but for that, it's last. Now, starting at number 11 is the El Gigante fight. I need to keep pressing that I enjoyed every boss fight in this game, so don't be disappointed if your favorite is so low. I loved them all. This was number 11 though to me. This boss fight was fun to do, especially seeing the badass cinematic of our good boy entering the ring, but it was all basically the same. These guys are stressful to kill, but all in all, if you're careful enough, you will get past it. The overall design of the El Gigantes were great, especially seeing the ones with armor. It literally looked like the Los Illuminados pulled those bastards out of Mordor or something. Coming up next at number 10, we have the Gyarados battle. These dudes are terrifying in the original, and they're even scarier in the remake, but they do have some nice teeth, so, you know, look at that. Look at that. Those are some pretty whites. Anyways, this battle was really fun, but it wasn't that difficult. If you had your knife, you could take these guys down stealthily, no problem. I loved having that as an option. Knowing you can do that makes the stakes smaller, but don't worry, the Gyarados will come back in this list. At number 9, we have the twin El Gigante boss battle with Luis. Cinematically, this battle was freaking amazing. I jumped when one popped his face into frame and grabbed Leon. It was action-packed, and if you're skilled enough, you can kill these guys without using the lava pit. I was able to do so in standard, but I was left with no choice but to drown the boys in lava on hardcore. I was running out of ammo, damn it, don't judge me. Up next, with number 8, we have the Del Lago Lake Monster. This boss fight in the original was hard during my first playthrough, but the more times I played, the easier it became. I'm sure it'll be like that with this fight in the remake, but during my first playthrough on hardcore, it was kinda hard on me. I did die quite a few times. I failed to swerve out of the way when the monster jumped out of the water. Overall though, this fight was a massive improvement, but I can't tell you how much I miss having Leon swim back to the boat just in the nick of time before the Del Lago ate him up. It was a gameplay mechanic in the original that will always make my ass pucker. With number 7, we have Krauser Boss Fight 2. Now don't get me wrong, I love both of these fights with Krauser, and it was a little bit difficult to figure out which one I wanted to do. I just completed my second playthrough now, and I almost wanted to swap these two, but I didn't. So let me go ahead and explain. Seeing him mutate his arm is insane, but other than the ending cinematic with this fight, you know, I wasn't really interested in the fight overall. It was fun, but the other fights here are a little bit better. Rest in peace, Krauser. R.I.P. Now we have number 6, and that is the Verdugo fight. This fight was 10 times scarier than the original fight, and even that one was terrifying. This dude was fast, and he seemed impossible to kill in this remake. The design of the Verdugos are so detailed, all I really wanted to do was stop and admire the hard work the team put into putting this guy together. But if I stopped for 1 second, he would have his tail up my ass, and I couldn't have that. I was able to kill him fairly easily in standard mode, but hardcore mode made it so hard to hold on to ammo, I had to bounce, like I couldn't defeat him. Next up at number 5, that is the twin Gyarados fight right before Salazar's throne. I will not lie, I died probably 6 times trying to get through this. I tried so hard to do it every single way you could think of, guns blazing, stealth, a mixture of both. Nothing I did seemed to go my way. It was a pain in the ass to complete, and once I finally did, I was so glad. It's not a complaint. I love the challenge, but holy hell, it was rough. I told you the Gyarados would be back. I'm just as surprised as you are to see this so high up on my list, but I can't knock how wonderful it is. Up next at number 4 is sadly the Big Cheese boss fight. It truly is sad, but not really. The reason I say that is because the fight was at my number 1 spot in the original. This fight was absolutely frightening to the point where I probably did have nightmares. It's hard telling back in the day, and I'm not saying the remake fight was bad at any means. I'm just explaining just how much improvement they've made in these fights compared to the original. Salazar was one of my least favorite battles, and we haven't even gotten to him yet. The Mendez fight was incredible, and it was almost exactly like the original, just with a little bit of additional layers. I really liked the walking bit before the fight though. That gave me a minor stalker element to it, which was a lot of fun. But sadly, I'm gonna have to put this fight at number 4. I'm sorry, Big Cheese. Before we go to the final 3, I'm gonna have to give some honorable mentions to the side activity bosses. The Knight, the Stronger Regenerator, and the Giant Mutt. They were pretty fun to do. Of course, it rewards us for doing these extra activities, but these 3 were difficult. They did not die, especially the Mutt. I basically used all of my ammo on the dog alone. It just wouldn't go down, and the Knight had backup on him, so I had to pick and choose carefully where I wanted to take my shots. And the Regenerator just had so many different plagas inside of him, I eventually ran out of sniper rifle ammo and had to go guns blazing with my shotgun. Now, at number 3, we have the first Krauser fight. Now, we all know how the original fight was. It was of course cinematic watching Leon and Krauser go at it with knives up until you're comfortable, and then a quick time event pops up for the first time. I'm sure we nearly choked on our drink we were trying to enjoy, reaching for the controller just in time for us to fail and watch Krauser kill us. Don't get me wrong, it was an awesome set piece, but I cannot express how thankful I am to do this fight without the quick time events. Now I have to suffer through the whole dang thing without relaxing, and that's okay. The knife gameplay in this game is magnificent, and going up against Krauser put the gameplay to its fullest potential. I loved the conversation between the two soldiers, and I loved parrying every blow just enough to give me an opening to slice and dice myself. In second place, we have the Saddler fight. In the original, I didn't really care for this fight, and what's crazy is that this fight really didn't do anything different. They added Novistadors to the equation, but the overall battle was the same. The cool thing was, he was 10 times bigger in this than the original, and that made it intense. The red barrels helped knock him down a time or two, but those barrels eventually run out, so it was up to us to carefully shoot his eyeballs and finish him off ourselves. It's really funny to see how size does in fact matter in situations like this, so don't kid yourself, young man. And out of the major boss battles in the original, I ranked this next one last, and Capcom literally said, "Hold my beer, Kirby, while I create the wildest boss battle you could think of." And that was the fight against Salazar. Holy shit. This battle was fantastic. I loved everything, and I mean everything about this boss battle. From the music, to the design of Salazar himself, the layout of the room, and the banter between him and Leon. It was wonderful, and I died so many times with this battle. It took me about an hour, maybe longer, to defeat him. It just gave it enough to make shitty little Ramon one of my favorite enemies in Resident Evil. So, thank you, Capcom, for giving us a legendary battle. It was a lot of fun. And that, my friends, is my ranking of the bosses in Resident Evil 4 Remake. But that's not really important with these videos. What's really important is what your ranking of the bosses is. I love doing ranking videos so I can encourage others to list their ranking as well. I want to get to know how your all's brains work and what excited you the most in these topics. So please, if you didn't before, jump in the comment section and give me your ranking so I can read them, and I will do everything in my power to respond to every single one of them. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It does help your boy out so much, and it'll help you out as well so you don't miss out on any more horror gaming content like this video. And until next time, my friends, take it easy, bubs.